friends, it's me, Cynthia, and I have Azalea here. It's her 20th birthday.
Hello.
And her friends are all in the background eating silently. Get that puppet out of the frame. Today I'm going to show you a couple of techniques on how to finish up the necklaces that we did last week. And that by last week I mean on Sunday. We made some of these. I'm going to show you the finished ones. This I just brought out because it's my favorite. And I'm going to show you how I finish them up. Hello Karen. Hello Cecilia. And guess what else I'm going to do? We're going to announce the winners of our Greengirlstudio gang competition. We have 5. And then we were like, well, there's an awful lot of entries. Azalea.
Oh, the calming music.
She's going to put the calming music. Hello, Julie. Hello, Allison. Thank you all for joining me this evening. Oh, and our friend Kalite. She says, Happy Magical Wednesday. Yes, it is very magic. She's going to put on, I thought she's going to put cat trumpet music.
No.
Oh, Robin says, Happy birthday, Azalea.
Oh, thank you.
We got her a bike for her birthday. She hasn't tried it out yet. I rode my bike today. You know, I got myself a cruiser. You know, I hadn't ridden a bike in, I don't know how long. It's been a long time. I mean, not recently. I ride it like every day. But before that, it had been a really long time. And I thought, I'll get a cruiser bike for myself because they don't go that fast. It's not going to be too much. Turns out I like to have my hair blown back. So my bike is too slow. Greg is all ahead of me, way in the distance. I'm like, this bike, and I'm like pumping it, going as fast as I can. And it's like I feel like I'm standing still. All these other people are whizzing by me. I'm like, man, I need to up my game. Like Thornton, pedal faster. There's only so fast you can pedal on that before it's just pedaling like, you know, you're pedaling air because it doesn't go that fast. The gears are not there. It's only like 3 speeds. So Bonnie says my ADD is kicking in. When is mine not kicking in, Bonnie? How do you make it not kick in? That's the question. Maybe she's talking about the music. I got healing tones happening. I don't know if y'all can feel the healing vibes. I can. So anyway, what am I doing? All right, I'm showing you what to do. Oh, I was going to show this. I'll show you my yield first. I'll make y'all watch my necklaces before I announce the winners. How irritating is that? Right? It's my trick. Oh, thank you, Karen. She says, you look so cute. Thank you. This is my sweaty after bike look. My hair, I had helmet hair, and it was epic helmet. I went by myself, and I was like, this is the way. This is such the way to go. And then I saw Greg riding towards me without a helmet on because I took all the helmets. They were in the back of the RAV. So he caught up with me on his bike, which was pretty fun. Hey, girl, can you fix me a drink?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. It's a good daughter. All right. I'm going to flip this camera. You know, we upgraded to camo so I wouldn't have to do this. But you know what? Sometimes it's hard when you learn how to do something and then you learn it another way. Difficult. I went to the Spirit Halloween. That's what all the top hats and all that wacky business. All right, here we go. That wasn't too bad. All right, so this is when I started. And if you remember, we were talking about color theory a few days ago when we were visiting with Kate, and that was a lot of fun. And here, I'm going to show some of this color theory in action. So a friend of mine, Fox Paws, we're not real life friends, but we could be, I'm sure. She made this ceramic bead here, and it's painted with alcohol inks and has some kind of coating to make it not rub off. But anyway, you can see that it has, the color palette is like a pink, red, and orange. So this is my bead that I was going to go base my whole necklace off of. Oh, you're getting a lot of birthday wishes, Azalea.
Thank you.
Bonnie, I'm turning it down for you. There we go. It'll just be a whisper in your ear, Bonnie. You guys were so good eating in perfect silence. Thank you, I appreciate it. I don't think I've even eaten that silent. Look at all these kids in here. There's so many kids in here. You guys say hi. This is Zoe's friends.
Hello.
Randomly getting that live stream going. They're going downtown right now. Gonna tear it up. And by tear it up, I mean gently look at all the delightful things to be seen in downtown Asheville. So this is what I'm working on, and let's see this. So this bead, this was made by Wendy Bergman in Australia. You guys might know Wendy from the Bead and Button show. She was my neighbor for ages, like 10, 15 years at the Milwaukee Convention Center. That's one of her beads. Isn't that pretty? The light is dark in here, I feel, so you don't even get to see the beauty of that bead. But it is purples, yellows, and some pinks. So I thought I'd tuck that one in. I don't know if you can see it. It's really beautiful. It's better in real life. Alright, so this is one that I'm going to do. You can basically start anywhere, but what I like to do when I'm starting these necklaces, this is one way that I lay them out. The other way is to use my bead board. This is my fancy bead board from the Weekend Mystic. They're on Etsy and they sell these. They're not a cheap date. This is like $100 and something. It was kind of expensive, but I love it. And what I usually do is when I'm making a mala, I'll do what's either a half mala, which is about 50 pieces, or the full one, which is 108. But you know what? That 108 is like a ball and chain around my neck. And I don't know how people can bear it. It's heavy. You wouldn't think 108 stone beads would be that heavy, but it turns out they are. So, this is another one I finished. Well, I almost did this. Getting wild. All right, how am I going to remove that? I guess I could string it really fast. I don't know if there's any such thing as stringing fast. But as I was saying, you want to pick where you put your clasp, because this type of necklace can be worn any place around the neck, so it doesn't have a front or back. What I usually like to do is balance it with about 8 inches between any focal, so that this is in the front, the rest of these are in the back. And so looking at this, I would put the clasp right about here. That's where I would tuck that clasp in. Or I could put in another big bead and put the clasp right in here. So it's on kind of like quadrants, if you can think about it in the quadrants. That way you get the best lay of the necklace. It lays on and it doesn't want to. If you have any side that's one side's really heavy, it'll always be in the front. It won't really matter. You'll constantly be adjusting it. So what I like to do is make sure the balance is there. This is a really lightweight bead. This one's kind of a heavy bead, surprisingly. That little lentil, it's in glass. So you want to balance it by, kind of, feeling if you have really heavy beads and making up for it by putting a few lighter ones on each side to kind of balance it out. Usually I like to do an ombre sort of blend, but this one I'll go back in. This is the longest part for me, is adjusting the beads into the right pattern. Alright, I'm so tempted to string it right now. So tempted, because I've got my thread over here. It's ready to go. Ready. I have 2 strands. So this is the one I did. The one you guys saw me do on Sunday. That's one of Donna Conklin's beads. Isn't that pretty? Got some corundums in there. Sapphire. Some Super 23. What's this? This is a mother of pearl beads, kind of an inlay mosaic from the Philippines. Got a good blend. Yeah, it does have fall colors, Bonnie. Hello, Robin. But they just walked out the door, those kids. They're 20, but I still think of them as the kids. all her friends lined up. So that's one of them. And I'm going to show you today how to finish that off. So that's one. Here's, when I showed you the other one, here's the third one. When I'm into, this is the one I showed that I was working on. Yeah, I think that one looks good. There's some ruby right in here. It's a little ruby bead. This is, you know what? This is a moonstone, and I'm obsessed with that brown moonstone. That's one of those glowing rose water quartz beads with the flecks. Some really pretty mica in there. And look at this. That's that lodolite. I call it pond water quartz because it looks like frozen pond water to me, like sticks and stuff in there, but they're not. And what is this? So I have a bunch of different textures. Oh, that looks like fuchsia. And a big labradorite bead. It's a good blend. Very juicy. Oh, Sam, you'd fit right in here. All the friends are hanging around. It was loud in here like 5 minutes before I went live, and then Greg was like, hey y'all, it's time to be quiet. And then they were like so silent. Thanks, Bonnie. We had that in lots, that aqua cut. They're apatite, actually, kind of big apatite. Yeah, so that came out good. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to put a clasp on it. Let me get something to jack up. My usual thing to jack it up is, I don't know what I did with it. Let's see. All right. I wonder if I can scoop those. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just quickly put them, should have done it first. Actually, I'll do that now. Actually, we'll just do this and see how fast I can move these over. Oh, check this bead out. I'm going to put a workshop on this. I finally figured it out, so a workshop's headed your way with that too. Isn't that pretty? Those that attended the retreat will know because I taught this at the retreat. I'm going to find something to slide under there. Oh, hello, Melinda. She says, first time here with you. Brilliant people. Thank you. I did it without too much crying. I didn't want to move that. All right. Perfect. Set that aside. All right, so there's a couple of ways you could put a clasp on it. Let's see. Which one do I want to clasp here? This is too close, isn't it? Let's see if I can jack it up a little bit. All right. So on this one I have, let me just show it again. I just put it on. I have a little macrame knot right here. So for this, and this is very secure. I have these in pewter. They're on the website. This is a silver one set with a sapphire. I make a batch of these every couple of months or so for my necklaces, and I'll sell any overstock that I happen to make. So if you're interested, you can drop me a comment and say, hey, I want one, so I'll know to make a couple more or so the next time I carve them. Is the length individual? Linda, the length is, because sometimes I use different size beads. If you use all the same size beads, you can predict your length pretty accurately. If you have beads that are like this size, or, you know, if you have any variation, like this one's a little bit bigger, If you do have that, like these are smalls, then it will affect the length. And what I usually do is when I string it up, I'll know by how the fit, approximately how long the knots are going to do that along the edge. So I also love the macrame on that, Bonnie. I'll show you one other way. So I have these gold vermeil. They're sterling, but they have a gold plate on it. I don't remember where I got them from. Probably Kamal, maybe Kamal Trading. Let's see. So if you were watching last time, you remember I glued the two pieces, the two threads together. So I leave that, and here's the best reason why. It's still glued together after all those. I'm going to use it to put it on here, but I'm going to trim that because it's a little tiny bit frayed out. Oh, thanks, Pat. She says, love the variation of bead size and shape. You know, my favorite thing is to get beads that are really special and put them on. I love finding stones when I'm at the shows or when I'm shopping for them. Please fit. I didn't check these. I've used them before, but sometimes when I've used thick threads, it doesn't want to go. All right, well, let me see if I can find another one. These have really big holes, but sometimes maybe I'll find one that has a little bit thinner. Oh no, I used the same one, so those are not going to fit. Let me see if these will fit. I have these Drux from when I did a live with Sam's beads. Oh, our friend Clem. These will fit surely, unless these have microscopic holes. It's always a pet peeve of mine. I don't know if I love that color with it, but it's okay. And it looks like those don't want to fit either. You know what I hear? There's somebody cheeping. Oh, there's a bird right outside, like, cheeping at me. So where's that cheeping coming from? Is this too loud? Is that really loud? It's kind of loud. But you know what? It'll be fine. I picked these up. It's kind of impulse. You ever do that where you're like, I don't know if anybody else in the world is going to like this but me? Okay, I'm going to cut them off. And we'll see. Oh, yes, these have nice big holes. That's often the challenge with this last bit. If you want to bead this, I was going to show the macrame, but first the beaded variation. So the beaded variation, you want to string on some beads. Oh, hello, Tina. All right, that's the look. So it's not too, you know, bombastic. Sometimes what you call it, coated, they do something to them. They're like, what are those called? Not hematite. I want to say hematite. Maybe it's pyrite. I can never remember. This is going to sound so whack. There was a fly flying around me just now. They had the door wide open, and this fly flew in, and I have this racket. It's so terrible. I know if you guys see me with this, anytime it's like a fly swatter, but it will electrocute them. It's so terrible. But I kind of love it. Titanium coating. Thank you, Pat. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Katney says, everyone on the Softlex call is excited about your lock pendant from their most recent bead box. That's good. I like hearing that story. We have another Softlex, not Softlex call, a Sundance party coming up to look up the times. So this is why you leave your tail long, because we're going opposite day. I'm adding the beads as I'm knotting them. So this is why you want to make sure you leave a good long tail. And I'm stretching between each one to make sure that it doesn't stretch out way big. You don't want it to be really big. Melinda says, I have one of those rackets. I play Kill a Wasp with it outside. Well, I don't care if they're outside, but when they come into my house, then it's all bets are off. So you probably noticed I just pushed them all down. That tightens the knots. And this is kind of fun. So if you get, when your clasp does show, you have a little bit of a bright spot. The gold looks really good. It works better. The gold is better on the micro cord. This cord that I'm using is just the medium or regular C-lawn or S-lawn. All right, so I have one thing. When you're doing it this way, it's kind of harder to, because it's a little bit stiff, because they're glued together, so you have a little bit of fray check. This is a place where you could get gaps between your beads, so you have to be careful with this part and really tighten between. So what I'm going to do is make this to fit around just long enough, maybe, I don't know, say probably like this much maybe. I'll keep testing it. And so I knot after each one, and it's not very long, so it goes really fast. I was just looking around for that racket because I saw that fly buzz right around I have a great big light that I got from Kate when we were in Fresno, and it draws moths and things. Alright, that looks pretty good. And I have a couple of clasp choices to choose from that I found around my workbench. And we'll pick the one that looks the best. Oh, our friend Anne. Hi, Anne. I was just looking at your components on my desk. They're on there for when I make earrings. I made a pair for my friend. Anne makes beautiful enameled components. And while I was in Tucson a few years ago, we did a trade, and I got a bunch of pieces for earring sets. They look like little tiny tulips. Stretch between. This shouldn't take me much longer, I promise. Usually you could do macrame. The macrame is good for the side that is not glued, like this side is not glued. See, this is a perfect opportunity for that. We'll keep that there. Oops. And they're all over the place. All right. Oh, thinking about how to incorporate in thread necklaces. Oh, you know what? I would put them as like at the bottom of a thread necklace. Especially the ones that look like little tulips. You could put like a tassel of them or a spray. Maybe one tulip with a spray of beads coming out. Stretch between. So I have about that much. Not long enough. Not long enough for any of these. Basically what you're looking for is a length that will accommodate the size or the side length of whatever button. You could use a pearl. If you can find a middle drilled, kind of a thick pearl. Obviously you can't use the kinds that are really, not, drilled kind of fragile, because that won't hold up. Or you can wrap a pearl. I've done that before. So it's not all the weight isn't in the middle. And the wire kind of takes up some of the function. Alright. Still not quite long enough. We'll add a couple more beads to this. I was looking online today. Greg was like, where should we go on our anniversary? We've been married. This will be 20 years in October. And he's like, we could go to Chicago. And I was like, I already rollerbladed that. And because I was like, he's like, where should we go? He's like, do you want to go to Toronto or go to somewhere? Ugh. Oh, no, wait. I don't have my optivisors on, so I was like, did I just do what I think I did? And I have tightened it over the bead, so that's not good. What I want now, what you do is you have to squeeze that knot. See, that's the issue. Alright, so when this happens, basically what you have to do is get some kind of tool, or if you have nails, if you can flip the loop over the bead, like I'm trying to do here. Almost got it. And that can happen if you have a little bit extra over in the loop, and then you pre-tighten it and it doesn't drag all the way through. It can be kind of a nuisance. But I got it. So I can kind of fish it back down. There you go. That was almost horrendous. I hate it when I have any space, like it makes me think of a loose tooth. I always have to figure out a way to fix it. Now this will eventually kind of soften up. Right now it's stiff because of the fray check, but it will soften up eventually. Oh, Bonnie says, my anniversary is the 1st of September. We are going to the rodeo. That's fun. I don't think I've ever been to a rodeo. I haven't been to a rodeo. I'm almost there. So you guys don't have to watch me tighten up like a million of these little beads. I'm running out of room too, so I'm hoping that it's enough. Okay, let's test it. Alright. So that's the loop. Okay, let's see what will fit. I have this little snake button. I also have this little barnacle bead button. It has like, it's silver. I carry the computer. This one would fit. Let's see. And it would kind of, you know, I kind of like that because I have the barnacles on that bead are kind of like, they kind of imitate the shapes of the seed, or these, they're not seed beads, the faceted little rondelles of these hematite beads. And it's not going to be too tight. You don't want your loop to be great big, because then your stuff falls off. You want it to make it so it kind of fits, but kind of, you know, you have to kind of wiggle it through. If it's too easy to go through, that means it's easy to come loose. So you want that to have a little bit of difficulty, just a hair, because this, remember, this will stretch a little. So I'm going to stretch it. I could feel it give a little bit. Okay. Alright, so the next thing you do is you flip it around, hold it firmly by the loop end, and then you make a knot. It's a very simple way to do that. Just like this. Okay. Get in there, you. So the fray check will make it a little bit where it kind of doesn't want to do it, but you just pull it. And then I go around another time. You could put a drop of fray check on it after it's dry. Okay, so this is what we have so far. You got that piece sticking out. That's okay, because I have this handy thread burner. You could always use a lighter. A lighter works just fine. You just have to be very, very, like, have no distractions, no anything in your line of vision that's going to bug you so that your hand jostles and you accidentally burn the whole thing off, which I've done before. That's why I speak from experience with that. So you want to make sure that there are no problems around or anything around you that could distract you. I never do it. Like if I'm in the car, I wait till I get to where I'm going, and then I'll wait till everybody leaves the room so no one's like, hey, where's this or that? And I'm not, distracted. I'm easily distracted. Okay, so you feed that through. This thing is like a little soldering iron, like a mini soldering iron. Or if you've seen the wax pens, this is basically a wax pen. It has a little element. This pulls out and you can replace it. Now, Kate gave me this one. Kate has a website called beadshop.com and they carry them there. You can get them other places, but it's better to support a small business. All right, I'm going to go right up against this knot. The knot is here. I don't want to melt too close and so it comes apart because I've melted the knot apart. I want to melt right at the knot. And then if you leave a little bit extra, you can melt that too and use a pair of pliers while it's hot to smash it down. And you don't want to leave any strings because those can be really like a little tiny thorn and like scratch you. I mean, it's not going to poke you, but it's scratchy. All right, here we go. I'm heating it up. It takes a second. There. Okay, so it left a few little threads. Clem pointed out last time that you should do this outside. It's a good idea. So it left a few threads. And I'm going to burn them right now. It's burning right now. Actually, I'm going to get a paper towel and wipe it. Okay, so here's one way to clean it. So you turn it on, you can see it steaming, and then you just wipe it off real quick. You can see the burnt nylon. Now keep it tidy. So, and it gets messed up. It gets kind of messy because this is what I do with it. So I have a few little stragglers. I can feel them. I can't really see them, but I can feel them. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat the tool. It's preheating. And then I'm going to drag this across it just like that. And see, I'm going to feel it again. Do I feel anything like a thorn? If so, I can drag it across it. And just sort of make sure. That feels pretty smooth. Or even better, if you have them, and usually what I'll do is I'll take a little pair of pliers and smash that knot so that the knot itself looks tidy. Because right now it kind of looks, it's a little jumbly. Doesn't look great. But what if you have them, you could put one of those knot covers on them and just tuck that right over it. And that will look pretty. I hate it when my stuff doesn't have a nice finish. Alright, so that side's done. Okay, so that kind of took a minute. There's a bunch of different ways to finish them. This way takes, I think, the longest, but it looks the prettiest, I think. Obviously, if you put a clasp on, that's, that's a nice option. Put these out of the way. No need to muddy the waters here. And I don't know if I'm going to use... I don't want to use that one, so I'm going to grab this. A star would work too. I love the star. It's one of my favorites because it looks really magical. See how that looks? Isn't that pretty? And it would fit. Just barely fit. But that's the way I like it. I don't want it to be like real loose and big so then this just falls out. Because you want it to sit nice and tidy in there like that. So now that I look at it, I'm like, oh, should I put that on there? What fits the best? Let's look at the whole thing and see. You can always change your mind. Alright. We could do a little vote. So here are my choices. The barnacle button, or the star button. You guys want to vote and say which one you like better with this necklace? Go ahead and let me know and I'll put that one on. I'll see the most what everybody is saying and that's the one I'll go with. Sandy says star. Let's see what else people are saying. Robin also says star. Arlene says barnacle. Oh, I have 2 for barnacle. Sherry says barnacle. Star, barnacle, Anne says whatever fits tighter. I like them both. They both fit equally. Colite says star. Let's see. Let me see. Karen says barnacle. Robin says barnacle. Let me see if there's new. Okay, star. Cecilia says star. Melinda says star. Barnacle. There's another one for barnacle. Allison says barnacle. Barnacle. Linda says barnacle. Oh, yeah, the barnacle gives a SeaWorld kind of feel. Yeah, because this, if you look at them, here's the beads if you want to look closer and see which one would be the best feel. It would be right in here. Clem says barnacle because it looked very oceany. Right, I'm going to count these. I'm going to count the amount of what folks are saying. 1 for star. 1, 2. Okay, I see 10 for that. Let me recount. Oh, Anne says, I love that little line of blue stick beads. Yeah, they're center drilled kyanite. That's what those are. They're center drilled. Aren't those good? They were actually really luscious. I was so happy when I found those. Let's see. Melinda says, you can't go wrong either way. Barnacle. Let me see how many I've got here. Another one for star, so there's 11 for star. Let's see. Okay. 1, 2. All right, I got 13 for barnacle. All right. Barnacle it is. Now, if you have trouble fitting your bead through, you could always take a little bit of the fray check. Love this stuff. You could use any alcohol ink or any alcohol type glue, and it'll work just fine. So here you could do a little bit of you know, while I'm at it, I'm going to just show you. So one thing that I'll do is I'll do a little bit of macrame right down this way. And the macrame is you have 2 strands. You can go where the loops go in different directions to get a straight. So if you go, it's basically over under. So 1 knot, you're going under it. And if you go both ways, it'll lay flat. If you go where they're both facing the same direction, okay, so that one would go under. You get it will make a spiral. But either way, it's, you know, it's very, how do you say it? You can't really tell from looking at it. So it doesn't really matter unless you're making the loop. So I'm basically going over and under. The over and under will give you the flat. If you go the same direction, you get a spiral. So, see, this one is giving me a kind of a flat look. Alright, I'm just doing enough to have something to have attach the button. A couple more. Now if you were to do this with the loop, that's an easy way to make your loop. The same, you know, so like this would be your loop. You're not at this, though we added beads. So this is your macrame loop. You only need a hair's breadth for that. You don't need a lot. Maybe a couple more. That's just to attach this, so it just looks a little tidier. Sometimes, I mean, you don't have to do that at all, and you could just tie them. This is 2 strands of nylon, it would be very difficult for that to break. But just to be decorative, you know. Just feels more finished. Okay, let's see. Okay, so that's a nice amount. Thread it through. And this is what I was talking about. So it has a little bit of, just a little bit, it looks a little more finished. All right, so you take, hang on to your loop. I hold on to it with my middle finger right here like this, so it's not going all over the place. Take your ends. That's what I was talking about, going all over the place. And feed it through. Now you want it to hug up against the end. You don't want it to be loosey-goosey. Alright. So it's tightening, but I have too much play. So what you want to do is hold on to it, loosen up the knot so you can get back in there. I'm going to start over. Okay, get in there. Holding on. Alright. Let's see if you can see that. Holding it with my middle finger so it doesn't go anywhere. And going over the top. You know, sometimes I think that it's better to have a little bit of fray check to keep them from wiggling around after the fact. But if you can hang on to it, that's the only thing about making it when you have the little decorative, can be hard to hold on to. Alright. Now I'm trying to make sure it doesn't go too close to the bead. Checking it. Alright. Pretty good. And then tighten it up, because you don't want it to come loose. And also you don't want a giant bulky knot. So I hold it like this and then over top to make the knot. And that does take a little, you know, a little bit of finesse, so it's not so clunky. Two threads can be kind of, you know, can be like real thick right in there. So make sure you tighten it so that it's not gonna, you know, and I give it a good pull to make sure that everything is snug and there's no gaps. Alright, that looks pretty good. It's a little stiff right now, but that's to be expected. Alright, I'm going to get my thread burner. I'm gonna heat it real fast and wipe it. There, I can see that there is melted nylon, so I'm gonna heat it a little bit. This is good to do this outside. Okay, thread those pieces through. Alright, and then I'm going to just carefully trim it so that it's not, it's better, see how I'm holding it too? It's good if you hold it, because then there's some tension, so it's not just sitting there like making it, you know, it pulls apart a little better. Otherwise it just sits there and then you have to pull it, which I did the first round that way. And so I have those two little strands. I'm going to melt those off. You could use a lighter. Make sure that that's flush. it kind of looked like if I had my optivisor, I could see if I melted through too far. Because sometimes you can do that. You could melt through your knot, and then it's, you have to do it again. Then you'd have to really melt it and make sure it's not going anyplace. I left a little bit of a, it feels like a little thorn. So I melt them flat. And then that's it. You could use a pair of pliers to flatten them because it's kind of malleable. Okay. I've accidentally cut or burnt too far and hit the other knot on the other side, and it comes apart. So you have to be very careful. Allison says there's an interesting tidbit of info about barnacles, but I'd get in trouble for saying it. You know, Allison, my friend Claudine and I used to call, when we were in college, if a dude was hanging around too much, we'd call him a barnacle. That was our, I know that sounds hateful, but that's kind of how we felt back in the day. You know, if they're too clingy. Being a barnacle. All right, let's test my work. Okay, here we go. Boom. How do you feel? It's not coming apart. Looks pretty. So it kind of blends in, and a small clasp will do that where it has a button or small. Will have like it blends in, you know what I mean? So if it does go towards the front. And this is unlikely to come apart without, you'd have to turn it and then kind of wiggle it through. So goes in this way through the flat, and then once you pull it, it should stay, because there's real no reason that it would turn the other way, you know, when you're wearing it. I've never had a button clasp come undone. If you had your loop too big, they could easily come undone. Oh, Melinda, you guys were, that's funny. She says, you were nice. We called them skin tags. Oh, that's funny. So if you had a really long necklace, this is the way Azalea did. If you have a button or a clasp that is like the one I showed earlier, you can double it. So that's one thing. I think she triples hers. All right, but that's how you finish that. So I'm going to finish these another time. So it's almost, I can't even believe that I managed to drag this out for as long as I did. It took me a while to thread those things, didn't it? I'm going to flip this camera around, and I'm going to do the thing that all y'all been waiting for me to do, right? Which is to announce some of the winners of our competition for the Greengirlstudios gang competition. The blue kyanite and the barnacle match. Yes, I think it does. Is it getting too dark for me to go on another bike ride? I'm obsessed, I tell you. Let me put it on. Let's see how it looks. Okay. And that one is nice and easy. Where is it? Here it is. You know what's funny is when you look at it on it's opposite from me. So when I was feeling it, I kind of expected it to be on the other side. So this is what I meant when I said that the clasp could be on either side of the piece. So here it is. It's on the side. There it is in the front. Not a big deal. To the side again. So I make these so whatever you're wearing, you can kind of, you know, it can be anywhere around your neck. So it's not like there's no front or back, which I like. I like that to be the case. Anyway, all right. So here today, I had the enjoyment of counting up all of the entries for our giveaway. And here's how I did it. Azalea had to help me put on the computer so I could see it, number one. And what we did was found all the categories. So we had the Enchanted Forest, which was the deer piece, if you recall, the deer with all the cutouts. We called that the Enchanted Forest. Then we had the Candy Kingdom, and then we had, that was the Candy Kingdom kit with those glow beads. And then we had the Moon Magic, which was the moon pendant, if you use that. So, and then we had the Spring Fling, and then we had a miscellaneous, which was use any Greengirlstudios piece, and that would be counted towards the pot, so to speak. And so what I did was we wrote down all the ones, and then if one had a higher like count, that one went to the top. And then if so we were looking for likes, that's how that was the only way I could think of to do it fairly. So then there were so many, I was like, I'm gonna add another one. You know what? Because there's a lot here, and y'all did so many people entered. It was really awesome to see that. So we really appreciate everyone that played along with our giveaway. And so I'm going to send out, I don't know what I did with the charm, but it was that little heart that I showed Sunday. I showed it on Sunday. I was carrying it around to take pictures. I changed my pants and they were in those other pants, so I don't have them to show you right now. But you saw them on Sunday. So that charm that I made for the contest will be sent to 6 of the winners. I'm going to make 6 of them instead of 5. And Pat, I'm in agreement. She says, I so enjoyed looking at all the entries. Yes, there were so many entries, and it was awesome. I just felt good, it was wonderful. So here we go. For the Enchanted Forest winner who won with her necklace, it was a painted deer along with a knotted piece. June Fujimoto, you won the Enchanted Forest section of that. So thank you, June. You did an awesome job. All right, the next one. So here's what, okay, so I have your email already, June, so you don't have to do anything. You just have to wait for it to arrive in the mail. So if I don't have your information, which I think everybody here, I do have their information, you don't have to do anything. You just wait for it to come to you. All right, for Candy Kingdom, who won with a 47 amount of votes, was Jermaine. Jermaine, that's you. All right, Jermaine, you get your one of the charms. I wrote really small here, so I have to I have to read my writing. All right. So for the Moon Magic, Lynn Rossi, you got that. You won the charm. I didn't write down your likes though, but it's on this other page. You have to go back and read it. All right. Spring Fling winner, Clem Inshaw. Clem, you won that with your painted, I think it was the bracelet. I don't remember now, but I have it written down here with 47 likes. Good job, Clem. Good job. For the miscellaneous, Donna Conklin, you got it with your, I think it was some of the things are kind of blending together, but I believe it had a butterfly on it. So you won that one, Donna. And you know what? Carrie Arase is going to get a present because Carrie had like so many items. I was like, listen, I gotta say, that was a lot. That's our honorable mention. So thank you for everyone that participated in our contest. So we'll do it again, but the next time we're going to do something a little bit different, I think, just so it makes it easier to keep count of everything, because that was kind of a bear. It was a fun bear, and it was delightful looking at all the entries all over again, but it was kind of a challenge keeping track of, crossing out and then counting up who won something. So we'll do it again, and thank you for everyone that participated. That was awesome, and get ready for your prizes. All right, friends, thank you for joining me today. That was a lot of fun. I hope you learned a little something about how to finish off these treasure necklaces, and we will see you on Sunday. All right, friends, you guys stay creative, and we really appreciate you joining us. All right, friends, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.